The first piece that I wrote at Brookings was Turning Around Downtown. And it is a piece that was released in 2005, which is now what we call conventional redevelopment of a place. And it really applies to most places to this day, as far as an incremental, build upon past successes about how to turn around a downtown. What we're talking about today is a little different, and I've learned this from first 20 years owning and running the country's largest real estate consulting firm, Robert Charles Lesser and Company, and then when I started my own development company, Arcadia Land Company. And Arcadia joint ventured with the largest foundation in the state of New Mexico, where I was living at the time, to turn around downtown Albuquerque, which had not seen a private sector building permit in 25 years when I got there in 1998. And some of the things that we learned there directly applies to catalytic development. That the foundation provided a lot of money, upfront patient equity, cash, that the city contributed 12 blocks to the redevelopment effort at the gateway into downtown Albuquerque. And my company did not charge anything for its overhead and invested in the project. So we had three critical sources of what we call patient equity: cash, land, and a lower operating cost. And we also crafted a strategy for downtown Albuquerque to turn it around from absolutely down and out, which is a term you're going to hear a lot today, to a very vital downtown. And we also created a downtown place management organization, a business improvement district where the private sector taxed itself $1.5 million per year, led by our company. But the one thing we didn't bring was jobs. We didn't control hundreds or thousands of jobs that we could move to downtown. That's one of the big factors that you're going to hear about today. So that work in downtown Albuquerque was sort of the stimulus for me to think about what catalytic development could be. It was sort of a proto-catalytic development, nowhere near as successful as these six firms that you're going to hear from today. But just as Jennifer mentioned, as we wait for HQ2 to be decided, and it could very well come here in someplace in this region, everybody's looking at HQ1, which is in South Lake Union, which is one of the case studies, because whoever wins HQ2 will in essence be engaging in catalytic development and learning from what happened at HQ1. I want to make sure that you know that this is not just about downtowns. It's about downtown adjacent places like where we are here in DuPont Circle. It's a suburban town centers like in Bethesda, just to give you local examples. It is redeveloping drivable suburban places, like what Tyson's is going through, or what White Flint is doing so successfully. It also can apply to greenfield and brownfield locations, like the granddaddy of great walkable urban greenfield, of course, Reston Town Center, and about brownfields such as Crystal City. And then finally, it can be urban universities, like what GW, our university, has done there in the West End, and also innovation districts, like what we're going to hear about with MIT and Forest City. So this research is based upon these 6 case studies, and it has just taken this concept far beyond anything I could have imagined when I was working in downtown Albuquerque. So I just want to emphasize the 3 things that we've learned that you're going to hear a lot about today. One is upfront employment, hundreds if not thousands of jobs coming early in the process. Number 2 is upfront patient equity, especially land that needs to be invested to make this work in the capital stack. And number 3 is a completely integrated development approach. This is not just doing land development. It's not just doing building development. It's not just doing place management. It's doing all of the above, including social equity, and looking at it from a purely affordable housing inclusive point of view. I have long-term involvement, just to let you know, in 3 of these places. One is downtown Chattanooga, where I helped develop the strategy for the downtown turnaround back in the late 80s, and I've been involved ever since, particularly with their affordable housing program. Number 2 is in Cincinnati, where through Brookings we did a economic strategy for the city of Cincinnati, and how I got to know Steve and his remarkable organization 3CDC. And finally in downtown Detroit, where I've been involved in the strategy for downtown Detroit through Brookings. And when we released that strategy in 2007 at the annual meeting of the Downtown Detroit Partnership, this fellow came up to me afterwards and said, "So I'm thinking about moving my company to downtown Detroit." And it was Dan Gilbert, Quicken Loans, and the rest is, of course, history. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Tracy Lowe, my co-author, colleague, friend, who worked with me on this project. She's going to produce, or she's going to share with you our research findings. PhD in urban planning from the University of North Carolina, former director of research at Rails to Trails, former city councilor in Mount Rainier. She's a local girl made good, and she's on the editorial board of Greater Washington. And interestingly, she's a real estate investor and developer on her own right. So, Tracy.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos from Brookings.